The tools we're seeing Rascal use to give Ruler that damage have been on Initiation Champs and Nocturne Lee Sin. We saw Gnar from him once already. He does much less damage on average, but he is the highest kill participation in the league right now in the top side of the map. So you could see that, you know, he's making big plays even though the damage numbers aren't as flashy, whereas Afrika is a lot more reliant on Keen doing the consistent damage in team fights himself. That's where he's being put on carries. You know, he's been on Lucian, the Jace, right? The Gwen, Camille. Dread is hovering. It's AP, as you mentioned, scales well into the late game as long as you don't end up getting too far behind. And against a Volibear, you're going to have a really insane clear speed advantage. So you don't have to always make the proactive ganking plays. You can counter gank and also just play safe. The set pick is a strong one here. You're kind of soft banned in terms of the Ezreal when you're talking about playing against Kalista, but also playing against Ruler's Kalista. It's not as appealing here to pick that, and maybe just going lethality versus lethality, picking the Varus here for a little bit of extra range is the better play, and that's what they're going to lock in.
I like the Varus. I would have really liked to see the set, but it does sort of put their whole top side of the map face up, so maybe you don't necessarily want to do that. As, okay, GEN are going to pick Orianna, theoretically, then ban Set, and then ask Afrika what Fly is going to play after that. That could possibly be what's happening here. Fly has played Renekton in the past, so certainly could be an option here.
It had... Go for the Alistar, which is something that could have been paired with Kalista considering the bans that we do have here. The Gragas was removed, the Set was gone. So that was definitely an option for Life to play. Taric!
The Kalista Taric! Oh, man. I was thinking like it could be the other GEN special, which is the Rakan, but it's not feeling like that much of a divey composition out of GEN. So instead, they'll go for more of these drawn-out teamfight style of picks, and that's going to be the Taric here.
Yeah, it's
looking fabulous.
It's really strong, actually, and it's very...
All right.
This is really aggressive.
Certainly is. Double flash to come through here as Dread definitely wants to get the first blood. Not quite going to do it just yet, but that is going to be red buff, and another auto should do it here for Dread as he puts down the trap. BDD is staying alive for way too long. Bounce doesn't quite come back up, but now Clid has flashed on in. Now Dread might be in trouble, but no, Clid has to get out of the wall.
It's actually really well played here. I think Dread says, no, I'm pretty sure he got him. So that's basically the call for Fly to go back and collect those minions.
Well,
meanwhile,
yeah, he's dead. Clid pays attention to the mid lane, and that's the flash forward from Life. Leo's trying to get out of there as Lahen's doing the very best he can to survive, but not going to quite be able to, as now I think they're going to have to leave as Dread walks over a ward. GEN do back away. A lot of aggression down here, as you can see GEN looking to get there. So they are committing to just side laning as much as they can. Plays just fell down, equal gold on both sides. Speaking of equal gold on both sides, that's exactly the state of this game. As, okay, King actually getting some decent poke down. Divine Sundra online. As, okay.
I mean, is this worth a Drake? Because that's what you're probably going to lose. You better make this work.
Yeah, no minions. Gets right underneath, flashes on top of him, and yes, I have a feeling Rascal's dead, and 100% he is. Fly is going to be able to get out of there just fine, and we'll see whether they can trade first turret for this Cloud Drake.
Yeah, it's going to be the Drake they get back, and I don't
forward, and Leo finds absolutely no joy, but will find BDD with a Q. That's good news. Lahen's and Fly now out of position as Fly. Dominus gets picked up. That is going to be the kickback, and the Crocodile is taken down. Cosmic Radiance is going to work, and Lahen's just goes right into it. Has already used the ultimate, as now Leo is just caught by himself. It's a disaster for Afrika.
This is a really disappointing fight for Afrika, and they were grouped so poorly. Like, they actually had great advantage in terms of where they were.
Are we taking Baron for this?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. They're looking for it. I mean, was it if he was playing an engage comp? Okay, they're going to try to contest.
Yeah, that's double teleport to come through here as well. As there is a smite available for Dread, so he's going to be able to grab himself the Drake. The Baron's being taken in the meantime, by the way, guys. This 2v2 is happening. Here's the teleport in from Fly, as there's the flash away from BDD. Fly slicing, flashing forward, will find BDD there as Rascal understands that he just has to get out. Pretty slow Baron, but it looks like it will be going down as now Dread hunting for some spears. And there is the Ren to finish off that Baron. So GEN, they get what they really wanted, but now we'll see whether Afrika can find anything in return as Rascal will be taken out. That's a couple of Barons removed. as now Life, oh, the sidestep on the spear as Keen. He's already heartbreaking his way over this wall. Big pulverizes the ult used from Cleared. They need to try and hold on to these Barons as it's just Ruler and Cleared that have any available. Now Afrika looking to push forward, see whether they can take this inner turret as a consolation. Rascal finds the Crocodile, and now a fight has broken out. That's Fate's Call used very early here, as you have to keep your eye on the orb. As Rascal finds a kick, but it's another defensive one as now Life is going down so low. Cosmic Radiance comes on through, doesn't really land on anyone other than Life, and Cleared as now Rascal gets on in there. They're trying to reposition, but that is not what you want. And now there's two Tarics, or well, one, because one of them's dead, and now the resets come on forward. Afrika just mop the floor with Gen G, and this is what the comp was.
Exactly what Gen G need to do. They need Drake Prio, or they're going to get chipped down once again, and they have to be decisive. They have to initiate this fight.
Yeah, but they've also let Afrika in, right? So now you've got these arrows being charged. You've got the spears flying forward, and they have actually started this already. Cosmic Radiance comes down as PDD is going to be invulnerable, but Cleared not so lucky. They really didn't use that Taric ultimate very well, but Rascal gets into the backline. It just eviscerates the Varus. Goes Golden as well. He's buying a bunch of time as Lehens is trying to be a hero, but it's not quite going to be enough as now the Viego is trying to get the work done, but Life has his number. Just knocks him down. The Orianna is dead, and now Keen gets himself into the fight. Now he's looking for Ruler, who's just hopping around this one, and he wants to get at least one of these kills, but he just can't really find it. Ruler eventually will be able to take him down, and Rascal gets on top of the Viego.
Does he have his ultimate? I don't think so. He's just dead.
Yep, not going to happen. You'd already heartbreaken in the fight earlier. And that's what happens if Afrika get too hasty with these fights. They need to try and land that poke before they go in.
And you said it right before. This is how you lose this game as Afrika. You flip on the Drake. And they had the advantages. They got onto the Drake very quickly. They funneled in. But Gen G had positional advantage, and it was a big play from Rascal that got on top of the Varus when Afrika were a little bit too split up. They were a little bit too greedy with their positioning there. They were trying to get super big value out of this Renekton once again. This keeps happening with this comp, where Lehens is on one side of this team fight, Fly's on the other, and there's a little bit of a disconnect. As you see Leo, where he is on the left side of this fight, he gets caught by the Shockwave, and Rascal just comes in and executes. It's just super easy to get him because where's Fly and Lehens? They're chasing a Volibear. Yeah. You've got to make sure you've got peel for your AD carry. If you can peel for him, you win this front-to-back team fight with the poke that you have, and then you just take the Drake. But now Ruler's like, okay, well now your tank is disconnected from your damage, so guess what? I'm just going to rend and zip around this team fight uncontested. Nobody could stop him.
And it was so close to Keen, you know, becoming a bear, becoming a Taric, things like this, but it just never really eventuated. Just the ideal scenario for Gen G, and Ruler hopping around like a beast always. No, they've been much better in that department.
Yeah, it's just Gen G with some really good plays overall. I mean, I really appreciate now, like, looking back on it, I really didn't like it at the time, but I really like the calculated risk Gen G took to try to get Baron and Drake. If they had gotten that, this late game would have been even smoother. Like, that's one of those moments that at the time you're like, oh, that was a bit crazy, but it was a really calculated risk that almost paid off big time for them, and they still fall back to this composition later on. They still are able to win those next Drake fights and win the game, well, maybe.
Speaking of falling back to it, as Lehens is looking for the disengage, should be able to do so, as now it's just 5 members plus a cow. That is a lot of damage as Lehens is going to go golden. Ruler now has that Cosmic Radiance. Lehens basically did his job as Fly gets into the backline. Not quite able to get enough work done, but he is going to keep himself alive, and PDD has been taken down already. Leo dealing with Rascal and is going to be able to flash away. Safeguard's going to be there, but here's the tidy up from Gen G, and they'll march down mid lane and win game 1.
That's not a Diana, that's an Alistair. Yeah, it was a really amazing looking play, but this is not a comp that is going to just run in and blast AoE damage. And there's no set here, okay? There's no Haymaker follow-up. This is just straight up a big knock-up into a big failure in the team fight. That's going to be Gen G taking the first game in 40 minutes. Their average game time has got to be the highest right now in the LCK.
Yeah,
They've had so many volatile late games. We've had so many 3-game series. But what has remained true